Hey everyone, and welcome to this very early episode of your Weekly Thera-Tea Podcast. My name is Tell Williams, or Mr. Williams pre-can social media. I'm a therapist, a social worker, and a teacher. And over here we have...
I'm Anne-Marie DiPietro, and I'm still a nurse practitioner.
Still trucking along on that.
Still on, what is it, week 18 or something?
Of the... podcast?
Yeah.
I don't even know. Probably something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe. It's probably got to be much more. We've been doing it since January.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
No, we were doing it before January because we filmed when we were doing that horrific Christmas decoration.
But it looked good.
It looked good, and then you literally ripped it down the next morning. When I walked in, I was like, he has got to be fucking kidding me.
Well, because here's the thing. We did it a few days before Christmas, and I tore it down the 23rd of December.
Yeah, why?
Because when people came back to the office, it wasn't Christmas anymore.
Yeah, but it was lights on the ceiling. We were like, oh, we'll just leave it for a little bit. So then you rip the whole thing down. I come in and there's just the clips up there. So I start taking the clips off. It takes the paint off the ceiling. So then I had to scratch a little paint chip off, take it to the Home Depot. Saw these two lesbians I used to work with, had to pretend that I didn't know them. And then got ceiling paint and had to come back and paint it.
And the ironic thing is our Christmas tree was up until March.
Oh, for sure. One time my Christmas trees were up for 2.5 years.
Here's the thing. I think at that point you take the Christmas stuff off of the tree and replace it with Easter and Halloween and 4th of July, and you just do a year-round holiday tree after that.
Well, it was, that Christmas I told you when I found out that my two ex-girlfriends were dating each other.
Yeah, that's a horrible Christmas
I
gift.
was frozen in time. I was regressed. Those trees didn't come down for 2.5 years. I'm not kidding.
You said, I want to live every day like it was Christmas.
And they were just a trauma trigger for that whole 2.5 years.
Any therapist would have told you, yo, take it down.
Right.
It's triggering you, but sometimes it's I need it to hurt a little bit more.
And I'm telling you right now, I have not put a tree up since.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
See, here's the thing. It doesn't matter how triggered I am by a Christmas tree, right? I told you about the year we went to Wilfong Tree Farm.
And then it had the bugs on it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Praying mantises hatched out of this thing. They were everywhere. And guess what we did the next year? We still got one.
No.
But then my mom was like, oh, I'm allergic. And so then after that, we did a fake one. But even fake ones, put them in a crawl space.
I have 6 fake trees, nice ones. And the only thing I think now is if I put it up, I have to take it back down.
Yep. But I don't mind.
I do.
I really like it.
I mean, it literally took me until March to take the tree down here.
It's true. That's true. So today's episode, we decided it'd be a fun idea to talk about. A lot of people always are asking us about relationship advice, right? And so we thought it'd be fun to do one on relationships, but are you getting bullied in your relationship? Or is it playful teasing? Or is your partner, spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend being a dick and bullying you? Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But before that, we have our... person that needs to sit down and take a chill pill of the week, and that's Mr. Justin Timberlake. JT in the DUI.
Oh my god.
So this is my thing with that. We know addiction's a disease, right? And so as I talk about this, I'm not making fun or sitting there and making light of someone with a disease, right? What I'm frustrated by is this man is privileged as fuck.
Wait, does he have a disease?
I don't know that it's an addiction. I'm saying if someone is getting a DUI with an addiction, I'm never going to condone a DUI. I'm never going to be okay with you getting a DUI.
Okay.
I'm saying I'm not making fun of DUIs. I'm not even making fun of him. I'm thinking it's absolutely fucking ridiculous. Justin Timberlake, you have all the money in the world. You couldn't get an Uber. You could have got an Uber Black if you want to be fancy.
I know.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
He could have just called some Black Lane chauffeur service like I do.
Yeah. Or your wife, or a bodyguard or call
Or
Lance
someone
Bass.
on the street.
Yeah, anyone would have driven you home.
Anyone.
Here's my thing. I got that kind of money. I'm never driving again.
No. Never.
I'm never putting my foot on a pedal ever again. No.
Have you seen Kim Kardashian driving? No.
I haven't.
No. She's in the back of that Rolls Royce with that beautiful camel leather on her phone, you know, talking about her next Netflix special.
Boom, 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 boom. Because guess what? She wants to go and have a good time.
Yeah.
And she does, and she wants to be, some part of her wants to be responsible.
Right.
Listen, I don't think I'll ever understand the DUI thing because, especially in 2024, rideshare is so accessible, and there are so many bars that will give you one or call you one if they see you are clearly intoxicated, because guess what? They don't want to get in trouble if something happens. And that is someone who doesn't have money. Baby, you have friends, you got families, you got fans, you got money. And you drive. What an idiot.
What was this BAC? Do we know?
I have no. Well, no. So I said something about this and made like a video about it, talking to like a preschooler. Hey, baby, you can't do that. And someone goes, being a little judgy, are we? And I was like, they said you weren't there, being a little judgy. And I was looking, and apparently, brother boyfriend didn't do a breathalyzer.
Oh.
Automatic should be. In most states, it is automatic year at least. I know people, my stepfather, who got a DUI, and I think he lost his for 2.
Really?
Because he refused a breathalyzer. Because the thing is, if they know you're clearly intoxicated and you're saying, I'm not going to take a breathalyzer, then they don't know what was in your system. Right.
I know that in Pennsylvania, like, you definitely, like, get the DUI. Like, even if you weren't drunk and you refused the breathalyzer. Because,
like, baby, I know that there's a lot of corruption out there, but, like, I'm gonna take the breathalyzer. Right. I remember I got pulled over one time and they were like, are you drunk? I said, absolutely not. It was like 3 a.m. I'm driving. They're like, are you sure? I'm like, I'm very confident I'm not drunk. Did you drink tonight? I said, like 7 hours ago, I had a glass of wine at the Olive Garden. And they were like, okay, well, I was driving behind you for a while and you're driving pretty erratically. I'm like, it's 3 a.m. So they were like, can we do a field sobriety thing? I said, can you just give me a breathalyzer? And I think because I asked that, they were like, oh, is he like, did you smoke pot or something? And I was like, it was freezing. It was like October. It was it was the week before I moved here 6 years ago. I'm wearing these adorable leather vintage. They were my dad's in the 80s, not a Mean Girls quote. They were actually my dad's in the 80s. Penny loafers with pennies in them. And they were like these adorable, but like, I'm trying to do the thing. I'm doing like okay at it. And I'm not doing anything that makes me look impaired. I'm more freezing my ass off than that. He's like, okay, that's good. Are you really not drunk? I said, please just give me the breathalyzer. And I do it. Nothing. He's like, okay. I'm like, I'm not a good driver and it's 3 a.m. I just want to go home. And he's like, okay. Like, I was like, that's it, babes. That's it. That's all. Like, I can't imagine that if you haven't been drinking, you don't, if you weren't intoxicated, I'd want to prove that. I don't lose my license. Did I
tell the story of when the girl got a DUI on her first date?
Were you in the car?
No.
Oh my God.
Did you driving date in front of her? Yeah. So we ended up dating for like 8 months and it ended. I can't even tell the story of how it ended because it's horrific. But anyway, how it started, I mean, I should have known how it started, how it would end. But so we were at dinner in the city and we were at dinner for like at least 5 hours. It was one of those like
super long
6, 7, 8, 9, like 5 to 11 type things. I'm like very paranoid about DUIs. Well, just in general, because you shouldn't get one, but also when you have a license.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like
people
fucked.
Use them. Yep.
And let me just say the best part of this story, which was she's a physician. Okay. So after so I had like 1 drink an hour. I think I ended up having like 3 maybe. And then I like do like crazy things like calculations.
I do too. I will on the hour, I'll have the drink. I'll give myself 15, 20 minutes to drink it and then excessive water. And then the next hour I can have one. Yeah. But
I even do it like based on the alcohol. So if it's like a wine or if it's like a mixed drink, then like how much alcohol, I'll like ask how much alcohol is in.
Yeah.
Whatever. I should just, now I take Ubers and cars mostly. But anyway, so we're at dinner and then somehow it's decided that Mom, don't listen, that she was going to follow me home. Okay. So we're driving from the city and we're on, we got off 76 and get on 202. And we're driving and like, you know where 202, you get off on 30?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're almost there, right? I look behind me and then I see like lights behind her.
Yeah.
And I see her like pull over. And in that moment, right, like I know that I'm not intoxicated, but like you start to get paranoid, right?
Oh, for sure.
But I'm like thinking in my head, I'm like, I had like like there's no way. So anyway, so in that moment, I'm like, okay, I could keep driving and get my ass home, or I could pull over and make sure she's okay. And then I was like, I'm going home.
Yeah.
So I go home. And I'm like, okay, like, I'll just pretend that never happened. Like, we'll never talk again, whatever. I'm like half asleep. She like calls me and she was like, can you come pick me up at the police station?
You lie.
No, I swear. And I was like, I'm not going to get back into a car and drive right now, but I will order you an Uber.
Yeah.
So I order her an Uber. She gets to my house. And she's like, I immediately need to like drink a beer or something. And I was like,
baby, that's the last thing that you need in this moment.
So like, needless to say, I like went back to bed. And then the next day I had to drive her to her car because her car was like still in the middle of the road.
You think if this was the first date I was on with someone and that happened, I wouldn't call them.
Right. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I wouldn't.
Right.
I would be like, okay, I'm so dumb for driving. I should have been honest and been like, hey, if you're okay, why don't we take your car? Because I'm not. Like, baby, they have breathalyzer keychains now.
Oh, yeah.
And she called you. That's U-Haul lesbian energy right there. That's saying, we don't need the U-Haul. We need you to, you're my get out of jail.
Yeah.
That's a ride or die.
Right. The cop later ended up saying like, well, why didn't you tell me you were in the military? Like, if you would have told me you were in the military, like, I would have just driven you back or whatever. And but yeah, like, first of all, if that happened to me, which God forbid that would ever happen to me, I'd be like, I'm a nurse, I'm a doctor, I'm in the military, I fought in World War II.
Yeah.
Like
baby, World War I, Vietnam,
yeah.
I was there.
I have a Purple Heart.
Yeah. I have a green heart, purple heart, red heart, orange
My
heart.
dad was a prisoner of war.
Yeah.
Like,
I would be I'd be throwing everything. I do have a Pulitzer and a Nobel Peace Prize, and I said I didn't want them.
Yeah.
Because I'm humble.
My grandfather's the police chief.
Yeah.
He can get you a promotion.
Yeah. And they're like,
do you want $1 million? They're
like, our police chief's a woman. You're like, yes, I love my grandpa mama. No, I think that's it's my favorite part of the entire thing was apparently the cop was like 22 and had no idea who he was. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if he was like, I'm Justin Timberlake, but like, what did you say he said,
this is going to ruin the tour. And then the cop was like, what tour? And he goes, the world tour.
It's like, no.
Why did he call it the world tour?
I don't know, because someone goes, if I would have heard Justin Timberlake say it's going to ruin the world tour, I'd been like, the Trolls tour? Or like someone was like, any time of like slight inconvenience I have in my life, I'm like, this is really going to ruin the tour. Like, can you just... I think he's the only person in the world that could get us all to go, you know what? I stand behind that 22-year-old police officer.
Yeah.
Like, humbling to sit there and be like, baby, I don't know you.
Yeah.
And honestly, even if I did, you're a dumb, like, you can't be doing that.
Right.
Oh my God. Funniest thing ever.
If I was a cop and I pulled over Justin Timberlake, I'd be like, you're definitely getting a DUI.
Oh, baby, you were getting one. Janet Jackson and Britney, thank me.
Yeah.
Thank me for that.
Oh, my God. I would love to see Britney living her best life.
Oh, you know that.
Reading these articles.
She immediately was like, baby, go get my tripod and my phone. I'm about to dance this.
Oh,
and she was just like, yes, bitch.
Yeah.
And I was
she
like,
put on those white boots
and we're
that
like,
have the scuffs all over them.
Yeah. We said, Mama, do it. She earned that one.
She did.
So now that we did our 15-minute tangent on that, sorry about that, but that's just...
I mean, that story was completely necessary.
Listen, it was. We have to call attention to the privilege of that because that's wild behavior to me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so today, bullying in relationships. I even have notes because I'm like so professional today. We're both going to answer, but I want to hear you first. What do you think the difference is between like playful teasing, which I think is important in relationships, like the playful banter, and bullying?
So I think like the big difference is like how your partner responds to it or like reacts, because playful teasing isn't supposed to result in your partner being like embarrassed or ashamed or like put down or diminished in any capacity. So like, you know, if Colleen makes fun of me because I don't know, I like have 3,000 pairs of shoes and I'm like, I need another pair of heels for this event or whatever.
Right.
Like, okay, like
That's
that's like
tease.
playful teasing, right? But I think that it can go too far if, like, one time I walked out of a therapy session with Colleen because she said that I was a low-key hoarder, and I was like, I'm done.
Right. I can't do this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I was like so upset about it. And I knew what she meant, but I was still like, that was not okay.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the thing too, right? It's like after a while, you could, I think it's some of its intention. I think a huge thing is intention, right? If your intention was to be playful and it didn't land well, then like it might have landed as bullying, and we know that we're not gonna tease in that way, right? So like if you're like, no, this is really something I'm self-conscious about, and she's like, okay, I see that now, to continue to do it, that becomes bullying, right?
Yeah.
But I think that like it's all about that person's intentions and what you've told them about how you feel about a certain thing. Like if Jason were to make fun of I'm trying to think of something I'm like super self-conscious about, like I was gonna say my nose, but that's more of like a him thing. But like I am self-conscious about my nose, or like my teeth, right? My teeth, like I'm gonna go to the side and people.
How are you self-conscious about your teeth? People,
wait,
like,
because this, if I do this, they look great. But when I turn to the side and I'm showing you, I go, guys, I have horse teeth. They go out. They're like trying to run that way. I don't know why. They need to go from here to like. But it's something I'm super self-conscious about, because we'll get into that story. But someone I was dating made fun of my teeth one time, and it destroyed me. But like he would know that that's not a tease. That's straight up bullying, right? Before he had rhinoplasty, if I would have made fun of his nose, that was something I knew he was super insecure about, and something I actually loved about him was his nose. And he has a great nose now. I just liked his big nose. He does have a great nose
now.
But yeah, I think it's intention. I really think a lot of it is the intention behind it. I think of the anecdote I think of is Jersey Shore, when Mike says something to Sammy, is it? And she's like, that's like my toe. That's like insecurity though, because like he makes a comment about her big toe and she's super insecure about it. I remember sitting there being like, that is a wild thing to get this upset about. But then I was kind of like, okay, like it was a tease that didn't land right, and if he continued to make fun of her giant toe that she's self-conscious about it, that's an issue.
Colleen made fun of my giant toe, I would be like so upset.
It'd be devastating because it's something like you're self-conscious about. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't let Colleen like look at my feet for like a year solid.
Because of your toe.
Yeah.
I get that. If it's something you're self-conscious about, I'm not showing people.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. Like, because of my weight flux going up and down, like, it's not even just, I wish I could describe to people, it's not, like, stretch marks. It's, like, these big divots, and then some, like, I'm making this sound way worse than it is, but then, like little skin tags. And I hate it so much. And I literally wear, like, shorts all the time, and no one's been like, oh my God, what is that? But I'm self-conscious about it. And if Jason were to make a comment about it, it would destroy me. Such a silly thing, but it would destroy me, right? So yeah, I know and you didn't even tell me, which I kind of like when we do that, when I don't like know the story. But you had said that when I was like, let's talk about times that I think that whenever we share experiences, or when we're talking to a therapist and they share a experience, an appropriate one, it kind of puts the person in the session at ease. And I think it's the same like with this, when we give anecdotes about it. So like, you were starting to talk about something that happened when you were dating someone.
Oh, with the boob thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, because that was bullying, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also because we were in, like, I think we were in, like, the hot tub at the time.
And that's always a vulnerable place to be.
Or, like, the jacuzzi tub or something, whatever. And she was like, you know, like, boobs are just, like, a sign that someone's fat. And I was like, what?
That's a
And
wild thing to
she
say.
was like, boobs like are fat. Like that's what they are. And I was like, I'm like sitting there. So like, obviously, you know what that's saying, right?
Oh, yeah,
It's
like,
basically
it's
saying like,
pointed.
you need to lose weight, but I'm not telling you need to lose weight.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think that it's fat.
Like, I don't think that's what this is.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's what it is. And she was like, no, that's what it is. Like, that's why I don't have any, because, like, I have a six-pack and I work out every day.
You do? Like, how annoying.
Right.
Also, like, what a vulnerable time to do that when you're, like, in a bathing suit in a hot tub. Because my ass would have, like, darted.
Yeah.
I want to say with 99% certainty, if your partner that you're in a relationship with is talking about your weight, it's bullying.
Oh, for sure.
And it's a red fucking flag for me. My ex that I was engaged to, and I looking back, it was bullying. I'm not excusing him with that, but I don't think it was as pointed or malicious as what I think it was supposed to be. I think I've told this anecdote that I was not the smartest, and he was diabetic and had like one of the pumps and everything, and I got calories and carbs confused all the time. So I would cook and do these low-calorie things. And I was like, because you can't have calories. Like, I can't have carbs. I'm like, no, because you always want diet or Coke Zeros, like, because of the sugar. And I was like, oh, fuck. So I'd always do, like, sauteed vegetables or something, like, stupid like that, right? And one time, he was like, do you want me to cook for you and we had gotten in a fight over something. Oh, it's because I sauteed vegetables for dinner. And he's like, well, I can't have sauteed vegetables. So he was like, I'm going to cook something else. I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then he goes, I was getting ready to go to rehearsal because I was doing a musical. And he goes, do you want me to cook you dinner before you go? And I said, no, I'm okay. Like, don't worry about it. That was my bad. And I go to just grab a handful of plain Cheerios. Not Honey Nut, not Frosted, not Team's Cheerios that came out in 99 for the Olympics. Just plain Cheerios. I grabbed a handful and I was just kind of talking to me. And he goes, that's disgusting. We were living in a 3,000 square foot loft above the city we lived in at the time. And I took that box of Cheerios and launched it 30 feet across the kitchen. It hit the wall. Cheerios everywhere. And it's like a family size bag of the Cheerios, And he was like, oh my God. And I'm just screaming. And I'm like throwing Cheerios. I'm like, that was so fucking mean. And I was like, because he made me feel bad about food I was eating, and that was such a trigger. And he knew that I had a weird relationship with food and not a good one. So for you to tell someone they're disgusting while eating, I was like, I lost my mind. And I was like, this was a big reaction to have over that. But he also knew that was like a really touchy
that's
thing.
horrible.
And again, like looking back, I don't think he like meant to be as pointed, but also he knew that was like an off limit topic. On the opposite of that, and I know I've told the story, and I will tell the story every fucking time on this podcast, every episode. I was dating
Hillary
a guy.
Duff in the gay video.
I need to post that. No, the ex that I had who, this, I don't even know if this is bullying. This is just, bullying is a form of abuse, but this was just like raging abuse. When we were eating dinner at a restaurant or lunch or whatever, and he took the bread, the buns off of my food, and he handed it back to the waiter. And the waiter's looking at me like, why the fuck did this guy just touch his food? I think the waiter thought he was going to be like, he told you he's gluten-free or something. And then in front of the waiter goes, I work really hard on my body and I deserve to date someone with a six-pack. And I was 128 pounds.
Oh my
I'm 150
Yuck.
right now. Yeah.
Yuck.
That's bullying, babe. And I should have ran.
Yeah.
I didn't. I waited a little bit longer, but I should have.
Well, when I was with the boob girl, we weren't allowed to eat fast food.
Oh, honey.
First of all, I love fast food.
Yeah.
Like, to me, there's no good or bad foods. Like, I'll eat whatever I want. But, like, it took me a while to get to that point because I was, like, with these people who were, like, I remember after we broke up, because we were together for, like, 2 years, maybe I remember the first time I had McDonald's, and I was, like, I, like, felt guilty about it. Yeah. But then as soon as I was done the meal, I was like, this is amazing. I can't believe I lived without it for so long.
Because a lot of it is about control, right? Because, like, I'm sure that if you really looked at some of the other habits, maybe not food habits the person had, your ex probably had, like, horrific habits elsewhere, right? Mm-hmm. And so a lot of it's disguising those habits that we have and putting on a different one for someone else, like, should we have fast food every single day, every single meal? No, we know that, like, that wouldn't be great for us. But to say it's bad all the time or not in moderations or like supplement with something else or just to make someone feel bad about it is such a shitty thing and a control thing. Because at the end of the day, do you really give a shit about what they're eating? If you do, if you truly give a shit about what they're eating and you want to control that, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Run.
I don't like it either. I mean, after working with individuals with eating disorders and in an eating disorder program, like my relationship with food is like so important to me because I've seen how someone's relationship with food can like affect their entire life. And like, so like I will never, like even if I was like, I want to eat McDonald's 10-piece chicken nugget meal 4 days in a row, I'll eat it 4 days in 100%. A row. And then I'll order ice cream afterward.
Right.
Because like it's just not worth it for me to be like, oh, I should eat something quote unquote healthy. Like when I want a salad with salmon on it, I eat a salad with salmon on it.
Yeah. Well, it's intuitive eating, right? Like, like if you're noticing that like if you're having McDonald's 4 times a day, 4 times a week, and you are going up the stairs and your heart and your chest feels tight, you're probably going to be like, maybe I should have a salmon and salad a little bit more. But again, it's like, also, if you don't have eating issues, some of these things are totally fine. And for someone else to put that shame on you is such a weird thing, right? Like, I remember I went to college with my best friend, and they're dating someone that became incredibly toxic. And I remember sitting there one time and like listening to their conversation, and like the teasing went from teasing to like bullying about like the way that they looked and the way that their nose would flare if they talked. And like it wasn't teasing, it was like being mean. And the person, my friend, was like, stop, and they kept going. And then I remember like a week later being like, I don't feel comfortable always being here because I don't like to see you get bullied. And it's like it's so hurtful to see that happen to a friend, and for them to either not recognize they're being bullied or to be like in what's it called, like denial of it, because it's like, baby, this is my thing, we got to know our fucking self-worth, and we're not going to sit there and let someone talk about our chicken McNugget habits. I'm gonna eat my chicken 20-piece hot mustard with a grandma McFlurry.
Barbecue sauce for me, but
barbecue sauce on your titties.
Yes, on the fat.
on the fat titties.
I'm gonna make a chicken nugget broth for the big.
Oh my god. You know, I think that's it's so strange too that we'll if I feel it, and maybe I could be wrong, if someone were to make a comment about my teeth I wasn't dating, I'd be like, okay, like it wouldn't hold as important as the person that I need to tell y'all this. If you have not been married or in a relationship to get married or in a long-term relationship, it is a choice. And it's a choice every fucking day you wake up. And it's not always an easy choice, but we're making it. But it's an everyday choice. It's not a Hallmark movie where we wake up and it's just easy. Or like every day you pry those eyes open, you look at that person snoring and grinding their teeth next to you and you think, baby, I'm choosing you today. That, I think, becomes more painful. Right? When the person you're choosing every day and making a choice to be with does something that bullies you into something or bullies you into feeling a certain way. Because that's like life it really sits with you. I was going into my freshman year of college, so between my senior year of high school and freshman year of college, I was dating this guy, and I was in the front seat. My friend Zach was in the passenger seat, and then my boyfriend and my other friend were in the back. And I'm turned to talk to Zach, and that's when the guy goes, "You have horse teeth." And I said, "What?" And he goes, "Your teeth are going like out of your," and I was like, oh my God. And at the time I still had my retainer, but I hadn't worn it in like a year. So my retainer fit the front teeth, but then like slowly went down because it only fit like the first 4. And so what I did is I put it on, and it was a clear one. And I bit into it. And I bit into it like all night, and then I took it off and brushed my teeth and bit into it more the next day and wore it for like 24 hours and slowly went like this. My teeth wiggled. Because they moved so quickly with that retainer because I bit into it to make sure that it made the teeth go from like a little slant to completely like up and down. And I was like, this is fucked. And so like now, like I went to go to an orthodontist like a year ago, and they're like, I don't know what to do with you, for you, because it's not enough that you need braces, but Invisalign's not going to fix that. They're like, your teeth are absolutely fine. But I'm like, it's such a nitpicky thing now because of that one comment someone made.
I would never think that, even like looking at you from the side. Like, your teeth were the first thing that I commented to Jason on, like, before we even met. I was like, how are his teeth so reflective?
Yeah, I always tell people, I'm like, talk to me in the winter when I have not been on a vacation, or when I was going to Florida every other weekend. It was different. About that too. I swear to God, because I was like, no. But but that is, for me, I think that's kind of sad. Like if it's something that so many people, and I will say the compliment I get most is my teeth, either the way they just look or like the smile. And it's something I am just like viscerally self-conscious about because of that one flippant comment someone made when I was 18 years old. We also had the same birthday. Me and that guy had this. So every on my birthday, I'm like, now is he dead mom birthday? Day? Yeah. I'm like, I don't know what's more painful, that it's dead mom day,
or the ex-boyfriend day, or horse teeth day.
Horse teeth day. Oh my God. That's it though, babes. I mean, my shit.
That reminds me, when I was still in the men phase, when I think I was in grad school, this guy I was dating said to me, like, you know, you really have like excessive hair on your legs. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, I know that you shave, but like you can see like the follicles still.
Shut the fuck up.
I swear. He's like, and they're like really dark. And so it like grows in fast. Like even like throughout like the day. So like, you know, and I was like, oh my God, what? I was like, well, I'm Italian. So like I went and spent like thousands of dollars on laser hair removal.
Again, like something, you were in grad school, so you're what, 21, 22, 23, around there?
Yeah, 22, yeah.
So you went 22 years without being self-conscious about that, and one asshole decides he's going to make that?
Yeah.
And here's the thing, half the time, it bothers that one person, if it even bothers them. Sometimes they just want to make you feel like shit and put you down.
Yeah.
I like, it really fucks you up.
It does. And now that I got laser hair removal that long ago, like it doesn't like last. So like, but my hair only grows in like super soft. So like it's impossible to shave.
Yeah.
Like impossible.
The razor doesn't get it.
So I'll be like looking at my leg and be like, oh, there's a 3-inch long blonde soft hair. What, like I can like braid
But
them.
listen, sometimes they sprout out of nowhere because like, well, when we were in Florida, I was looking in the mirror and I'm like, why does my face look like, and I was like trying to like put like pencil in, like darken my eyebrows a little bit, and I had like a 3-inch long hair just sticking out, and I knew it wasn't there the day before because I spoke at a conference and I did my eyebrows. Sometimes those things just go boop, just to piss you off.
I know, it's so bad. That's why I have to use an epilator.
Could not. Okay, so listen, when I saw you using that at the condo thingy that we stayed at the house, and you're like, why don't you use an epilator in this? And I was like, oh, and I looked into it. You could not fucking pay me money. The epilator, Mr. Epilator himself could call me and say, hey, we'll give you $1,000 million. It rips your fucking hair out.
I know.
Absolutely. I would have to lidocaine my leg before doing that.
Oh, I do lidocaine my leg.
There's not a snowball chance in hell. It looks so painful.
It is. If you don't know what an epilator is, it's just like rows of tiny little tweezers, and it just like spins. But like once you like get past the initial pain, like it's actually really rewarding
because you've calloused your legs.
Yeah. So if you put your leg up like this, like in the light, and you like drag it along, like you can see the hairs just like sprouting off.
Listen, one time I went to go get laser hair removal on my neck because one of my bullies in school thought it was cute and funny and like ironic to like just grow hair here, and everyone called him neckbeard, and it made me want to throw up, but like he thought it was so funny, you know. He also wore pajama pants every day. So I went to go get laser hair just like right here, and we were talking and having fun, and I loved the person who was doing it. She's like super sweet, and then I feel like on my cheek and jaw, and I was like, what are you doing? She's like, the laser hair. She's like, oh fuck, you didn't win on all of your face. I did find out that day laser hair does not work after the first time. You have to go several times, and it's never, it's not actually permanent. You have to keep going back. Yeah. So like after like a few months, like a year, it like it's still pretty thin, but it's not permanent at least. But I was just like, that was painful, and it smelled weird.
Oh,
I can't imagine.
but I love the smell of burning hair during laser hair removal because it makes me feel like it's working.
That person fucked you up. I'm calling him. I'm calling him because the fact that you're like, I'm gonna walk into your office one day, and be like, what's that smell? You're like, it's a candle. I got burning hair candle. I think that's a good segue into what the fuck you do think it does to your mental health for someone to bully you because, baby, you went in a Yankee Doodle burn my hair candle.
Yep.
What do you think it does when you're bullied by someone?
I mean, well, coming from someone who has been bullied, like, basically my whole life, I think it, like, really messes with your self-esteem and self-worth. But I think, like, for me, I think because I went into mental health, like, in my early 20s, like, I was able to, like, turn that aspect around, like, in therapy and through my own self-reflection and whatever. So, like, my self-worth went up, my self-esteem went up, but, like, I wouldn't say the bullying went down.
100%.
So, like, if anything, I think as I got older and went into more, like, corporate positions and, you know, other, like, higher clinical roles, it got worse because, like, I'm unapologetically, like, myself. Yeah. So, like, I will never be a person that can sit there and be like, this is for the good of everyone. Just keep your mouth shut. It'll be easier.
Don't make a
scene.
Like,
this is actually, like, you should see the email that I wrote to an insurance company last night. I was, like, flaming mad because even if it has nothing to do with me, I, like, get enraged at the injustice.
I said this, what was it, 2 weeks ago, or whatever for that, right? When you are bullied, one of two things happens to you when you grow up. You get pissed off at the injustice and you flip out on an insurance company, or you perpetuate the bullying and you, like, take a step back and decide to be the bully because if you're bullying, no one can hurt you, right?
I was so enraged that after I wrote the email, I emailed the patient's mom. And I was, like, slamming on my keyboard. I'm like, listen, if this doesn't change, I'm going to go live on social media on my partner's account that has 1 million followers. And I'm going to talk about this insurance company. And I can't stop. You need to get an attorney. I'm going to get an attorney. Maybe I was enraged. Yeah. But, like, that's how I would always get. And it's, like, bitten me in the ass a lot of times, like, in jobs because people don't like when you, like, defend other people. And then you end up getting yourself in trouble. Yeah. But, like, I can't, like, watch other people get bullied at work. Yeah. But then I end up getting bullied because it's like, Emery always has an opinion. Emery has an attitude. Yeah. Emery's emotional. Emery's dramatic. Emery's bossy. Like, all the things that make a great male CEO.
Right. And I think that's the part of, like, the like, how it affects self-worth, right? Is because then you don't, like, I mean, you, like you said, you're unapologetically, you step up, but there's a lot of times that you sit there and you think, I'll rock the boat, people are going to think all these things of me, and it, like, and then you think, am I those things? Maybe I'm not worthy of being stuck up for, or maybe, like, I'm at fault for this, and this, and you truly gaslight yourself into being like, oh, maybe I'm some of the problem, and I just need to then, like, assimilate to this, and also maybe jump into some of the teasing, right? I don't. You're gonna probably be able to, like, in 2 seconds, if you had your phone, would be able to, like, pull up it. But there's, like, a meta-analysis and, like, a bunch of research done on brains of people who were bullied versus not, and it, like, changes the way you, like, function, really, because if you're horrifically and, like, constantly bullied, right? And I think that's the thing is then sometimes it's almost like some kind of dependence on it, because, you know, it took me until I found my husband to not date someone who bullied me. But we talked about it. We talked about the last 3 weeks. This is our third week of talking about kind of being bullied. Is that I would find someone that would bully me, and I was like, oh, this is okay. Like, I'm used to it. It's fine. And then I was like, wait, this is not good. This is fucked. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I was for sure. I was bullied by everyone I've dated, I think. Besides Colleen, obviously.
Isn't it weird, though, that, like, it's the one that you find and do that commitment, you're like, oh, wait, wow. Out of many of the clients I have that are all of my clients, where I feel like they all go through the same season, which is interesting. The ones that are going through divorce, I would say maybe all but one of them, and there's several, that a huge part was being bullied. And sometimes they tell me things and I'm like, I just want to give you a hug. Like that, like maybe, I think that the best thing we can do is dump the chump, throw on our favorite fucking shade of lipstick, put on some high heels, and walk out that goddamn door. If they're making fun of us, if they're teasing us, if they're bullying us, I'm not putting up with that.
No.
And I think that, like, it's all about hyping someone else up and being like, you're worth more than that, baby. You're worth more than being told that you got fat titties when you're in the hot tub in a vulnerable spot. Because here's the thing about this. I can't get over that. Do not make fun of me. Do
in
not,
a hot tub.
Don't make fun of me in a thing that to get in and out of, I look and have to humiliate myself. No one looks like fucking Carmen Electra or who was the in Wild
Anderson.
Things or Pam Anderson.
Yeah.
No one looks cute hoisting themselves out of a hot tub. And then you do the awkward, like you know, waddle, spread leg thing as you're in between, and you don't want to fucking slip, and so you're just kind of like, no one looks cute. So you're gonna make fun of me in a vulnerable, and then I'm gonna have to look like a claw sloth hunchback getting out of it. That's too vulnerable for me.
It is.
I don't need you doing that.
Is.
Like,
I know. And speaking of like body stuff, I think we talked about before the whole Juicy Campus thing.
Yeah.
So when someone wrote on Juicy Campus that I had thunder thighs, like, I was always self-conscious about my thighs because, I mean, I was bullied in general, but also my waist was always smaller than my thighs. So, like, things that didn't fit were always, they didn't, like, fit over my thighs. But, so, like, that, I don't think I wore shorts for, like, oh my God, maybe, like, a decade.
Your ass didn't wear shorts, and you get hot when someone like turns on a microwave 5 houses down.
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't. I mean, today I thought it'd be fun to wear overalls, and the second I got here, I thought it's going to be 100 fucking degrees today, and I'm wearing pants. I'm gonna probably change into gym shorts when I'm here.
Yeah.
You didn't wear shorts for a decade?
No.
No, fuck that.
No. I'm wearing shorts right now, but yeah, no.
But it took a while to get to wear
yeah,
them? No.
For sure. For sure. I mean, maybe, I'm trying to think.
You can't let people take away your joy of booty shorts.
I know.
I
think it was probably like the last 5 years.
That you started wearing them again?
Yeah, I definitely wasn't wearing shorts when I was with the fat boob girl.
You said global warming isn't stopping.
Right.
I have to get over this.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
That's fucking wild to me. I hate that it happens so often, though.
I know.
Like, I won't go into a lot of detail because it's not my story, but, like, my sister, her ex-husband, like, horrifically bullied. And then when they were going through the divorce, she's like, I know I wouldn't have been able to hear it when you guys told me. But I was like, oh, yeah. That's why so many of us had to, like, really decide when we were coming around, because we would tell him he's an asshole and stuff like that and stand up for her. But then also we'd sit there and be like, well, how bad is it when we leave after standing up for her, you know? And I think when you're bullied your whole life and then you get to a point where you surround yourself with people who remind you you're a bad bitch and don't need that, your capacity for people bullying you, people bullying others around you is so minuscule that that's when people look like they're being overly confrontational or popping off. It's like, no, baby, I just realized what it did to me, and we're not going to allow that to continue happening to others, because I can't go 10 more years without wearing shorts again.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Absolutely. For sure. Yeah. And now I have like a tattoo on either thigh, and I like wear shorts all the time so that I can show them.
When I say there's so many things I was bullied for in middle school and high school, right? That is so in now, right? Like big thighs on men and women. Oh my God.
Leopard print.
Oh my God. 100%, right? I had said this the other day. GQ did a thing where it was like, why can't men stop wearing these slutty little shorts? And it was like 5-inch inseam shorts, okay? And this is the thing, when straight people wear it, when straight men wear it, then straight white men wear it, then it is like cool and everyone should do it. The F slurs I was called 10 years ago when I went to the H&M and found a pair of red 5-inch inseam shorts and stuff I was called, but within the last 2 or 3 years, like, it's the thing now. The shit you were made fun of, or I'm not even gonna say teased for, bullied for, 10 years later, if you would have heard the come about
What
thunder
do they call them?
thighs.
Hottie hots?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
shorts.
but like there's like the thighs out, skies out, thighs out, and all that stuff. Like it is now like people want big juicy thighs, and so it's like the things that I really genuinely feel like a lot of things we get teased for now, freckles. Like I know that sounds silly to people now to even think about, but when we were kids, people with glasses and freckles, mercifully, and you're probably like, okay, what can be that bad? People would hysterically cry.
Oh, yeah.
And now people are getting tattooed freckles on their faces.
That's wild.
I'm like, that, or like fake glasses. And then like, I mean, I'm so a culprit of that. I was like, I want glasses so bad. And then I was like, well, I do have trouble reading because you're dyslexic, babe. It had nothing to do with vision. And I remember wearing like readers for like 3 months, like when I was reading, and I was like, oh, I had perfect vision before this. I went to an eye appointment because I was like, yeah, I'm getting headaches. And they're like, oh, you have really bad astigmatism, which is like not something that's caused by the glasses, but the actual like nearsightedness I had was from that. So I guess I got what I wished for, but that was something that people made fun of people for all the time.
Oh, for sure. I like couldn't wait to get contacts because I had glasses from like such a young age.
Well, and people also we talked about it like 2 episodes ago. Like the people like made fun of like a leopard print coat you had, and now it's just like
grade. Yeah. I actually, the tattoo I have on my left thigh, the text says, "I can thank you for how strong I have become," and then it's a phoenix. Can I like stand on this couch? I'm gonna totally pull a Tom Cruise. Isn't it Tom Cruise?
yeah.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so the girl that told me about the boob thing, like was obsessed with blue roses and had a blue rose tattoo. So I got the blue for that. And then one of the places that I worked at that I was stronger for working at, the logo was green, and then the rainbows for, pride.
Yeah, because of gay.
And then this is a phoenix rising out of the flower, because,
I kind of like that.
So
what is up with people? I have a giant phoenix on my you can't see any of it.
Well, the phoenix,
there.
it's like it rises out of the ashes,
Can I tell you something? You cannot judge me for this. And I know other people are gonna be like, oh yeah, same, me too. You can make fun of me for this. Everyone can. Until a few years ago, I had no idea. I have a tattoo of a phoenix. I got it more than 10 years ago. I thought a phoenix was a real bird. Hand to God.
I sympathize because I didn't know a stork was a real bird.
Hold on. Here's the thing about a phoenix. It bursts into flames and is rebirthed. I think now we could maybe argue things like caterpillars do stuff like that, and like maybe something can catch on fire because like lightning bugs are a thing. That's not fire, but you get what I'm fucking saying. That's a little unbelievable.
Wait, you thought that was real?
I totally thought that was real. My confusion is though, a stork? How you not think that was real? You never saw a stork before.
No, storks storks don't go around carrying babies.
Did you think a stork was carrying babies around? You didn't think they existed at all.
Right.
You thought the only purpose, you thought that like a stork was a made up for specifically babies.
Yes.
You'd never seen a stork before in your life.
Are there storks around here?
I think there's storks in a lot of places.
Are there storks around here?
I don't know. I've seen storks before in Indiana.
You have?
100% seen
Where?
a stork. But we lived in the woods.
Oh, they're in the woods? I thought they were in water.
Yeah, we had a creek in our back. Oh. The Elkhart River, the St. Joe River, one of those.
But they are in water, right?
Maybe. I don't know, but they're definitely real. And you can go to like the zoo and see them.
Well, I know because I saw one once and like I was like, wait, storks are real?
Wait, where'd you see it?
I don't know, Jamaica maybe?
I'm looking it up. Where are storks native to? We're going to look this. I'm fucking dying.
No, I think I was with Colleen, I think, when I figured out storks were real.
In many parts of the world, but are absent from the South Pole, most of North America, and large parts of Australia. So that's where they stay absent from. But maybe they weren't in our backyard. Maybe they were in, what's it called? 3 New World species occur between like Florida. So maybe the only time I saw a stork was in the what's it called? The zoo.
Are there storks in Jamaica?
I would think so. Are storks in Jamaica? Yes.
Oh, see? I think that's where I saw one.
It's a wood stork. Okay, hold on. That is so... Oh, no. It's the only breed of stork to breed in North America. Yeah. So I'm sure that I did see one in... or maybe it was a crane. I don't know, but they're real. And I'm shocked now.
What's the difference between a crane and a stork?
I'm going to be honest with you. I have no idea.
See?
If you know that, please let us know. Watch people be like, it's like the difference between a raven and a crow.
They're different?
No, that's what they're probably going to say. Maybe they're not this. Maybe they're the exact same thing.
I don't think a stork and a crane are the same thing.
We should. Maybe they're in the same.
Wait, doesn't a stork have that like thingy?
I think you're thinking of. Oh, maybe that is a stork.
A pelican?
I think you're thinking of a pelican. Yeah, a stork definitely. A stork has like a cute little like long skinny beak.
Oh, right, because it holds the little fabric of the baby.
Yeah. I wish you didn't think that storks were delivering babies.
Yeah. See?
Like you didn't think they were just. You just thought it was like an adorable little moment, but you. Right. I take a little piece in knowing that much because if you would have told me that you thought that, I would have been like, so hey.
Well, you literally thought that a bird burst into flames.
But I feel like here's the thing: if humans can spontaneously combust, who's to say a bird can't? Because like,
and then rise from its ashes.
Part of me, I think, thought that was like part of the birthing process. Like the mom got so hot while birthing the baby that she went
turned to ashes,
and then the baby went. And I don't know why they could automatically fly. I don't know, guys. Okay, I'm not sure, but I genuinely thought until a few years ago that they were real, and then when I found out they weren't, I was like, I'm so confused. They're like, no, it's like Greek mythology or whatever, and I'm like, I don't know if that sounds right. And people like, how the fuck does a bird burst into flames and rise from its own ashes? I'm like, you know what? Who am I to question God? Never done it until the Phoenix for sure. But no.
When did you figure out they weren't real?
I think I was having I think I was having a conversation with Jason. There was what movie am I thinking? Was it that one, The Hunger Games, when it first came out? Because the bird's on fire or whatever, and then I was like, and there was like me, 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 and it did the creepy thing, and I thought that's kind of scary. And I think I asked my siblings or was talking in there. I'm like, yeah, I can't believe like a phoenix is real, and they're like, I'm like, nothing. Like, no, say that again. Say it again. I'm like, it's not. I was joking, and I wasn't joking. I thought they were real, and again. Bully me for that. Don't bully me for my teeth.
Right. I mean, like, I own that stuff. Like, you can bully me all day long for my inability to write the United States on a map.
Couldn't do it.
Like,
yeah.
You and I did it that time. I think I got a 14%.
Yeah, I got like 30 or 40.
Yeah. I mean, I am bad at it, but like, I like to think it's like when one sense is decreased, like the other ones pick up. So like, if my geography and my, what would that be, like zoology are lower, like the things you probably need me for are higher. So
yeah, you know what, I like that. Do you think if a couple is going through bullying, and again, difference between teasing and bullying, if they're going through like bullying, what do you think can happen to solve the issue, or is it solvable, do you think?
So I think it entirely depends on the person who's doing the bullying.
Yeah.
Because I think it's possible that the person who's doing the bullying just has like poor boundaries, and maybe the person on the other end of the bullying isn't able to verbalize their own boundaries. And like you said, that comes down to like intention. So like if the person doing the bullying doesn't intend to be bullying, like doesn't want to be making their partner feel uncomfortable, blah, 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 then I think therapy is really helpful because you can learn how to communicate about where your boundaries are and how to respect each other's boundaries. I think if someone's just like bullying without abandon, like, I mean, if you're telling me that like boobs are fat and whatever else, like, I don't think you're wondering whether that's pushing my boundary or not, because
you're saying something that is hurtful, right? What's the point of saying that someone has fat boobs?
Right. Or like really hairy legs.
Yeah. Like your goal is in that moment is to hurt the person. And and I think that when if that's our goal in that moment and it's not like us to do that, or we do it on one subject, then I think a lot of that has to do with like, this isn't a me thing. You need to sit through and figure out why you wanted to hurt me.
Right.
And here's the thing. It's not good. It's toxic. I can guarantee you that your spouse at one point is going to make you so upset that you're going to be like, I want to say something mean to them, right? Mm-hmm. And that is a shitty thing to do. I've done it. Jason's done it. I think every couple I've talked to has done it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a moment to say, I think this is a good check-in moment, and we need to say, what is happening with us that we are wanting to intentionally make the other one feel bad? Because if you've ever done that, the second that leaves your mouth, you instantly are like, why do I want to see this person hurt? Because I don't. Like, this, you might think it, and if you truly love someone and you see them hurt, you immediately want to do anything to take that back. Mm-hmm. And when someone sees you hurt and then continually does it over and over and over again with the same thing, that's harder to fix in therapy.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And yeah.
Right. If you have no insight into it, like, you know, and it's one of those things where, like, I think that individual therapy and couples therapy are really important, because unless the individual is working on themselves and, like, they want to and are motivated to change, like, you could do all the couples therapy in the world and it's not going to matter, because your, like, that person's behavior doesn't have to do with you. It has to do with them.
No. Because here's the gag, babes. If this person's made a habit to make fun and bully someone for 35 years, maybe they're 35 years old, and they've been told it doesn't make others feel good, right? And then they tell you, I'm going to change, but they're not seeing a therapist themselves. They're not doing couples counseling with you. They cannot, I can guarantee, I'd put money on it, they cannot facilitate that change. Either one, they don't want to, or two, if they could have, they would have done it. They wouldn't have waited 35 years to do it. So when I hear, clients come in, it's the one time I'm like, sister, girlfriend, I'm going to have to put my gay best friend hat on for you for a second, because in 3 months, brother, boyfriend did not change. Yes. He needs to go get therapy and professional help, because here's the thing. I see a therapist, you see a therapist, my husband sees a therapist, because I can have someone who's going through the exact same shit I am, and I can tell them things to help facilitate better health. But baby, I can't take that advice unless someone's giving it to me. That man who's bullying you and saying that he's changed after 2 months of sitting on his ass at home has done nothing to facilitate that change. And even if he worked really hard on himself, we need outside people coming in to say, this is how it actually affects. Why do you feel so little that you need to belittle someone else?
And I will say, I've seen women bully men also.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, because...
And that's even harder sometimes, because the men have that, like, self-confidence issue with, like, feeling emasculated. So they, like, definitely don't want to be vocal about it. Like, I've had to have conversations with some of the men I see, like... I think we need to acknowledge that, like, you have trauma that needs to be processed from, like, this abusive relationship you were in.
The amount of, especially, like, any man, but especially straight men, who I have to sit there and be like, your friend said that to you? Yeah, they're just joking around. I'm like, that's not joking. That's fucking mean. Or, like, straight friends I have in my life, right? They'll be talking about, like, how they were hanging out with their boys this weekend, or someone said this to me, like, are you okay? They're like, yeah, no, that's just, like, how we mess around. I'm like, and I think that's why so many straight guys love having gay friends, because it's like, look, now, let me say, gay men can be shitty and bully each other.
Oh, for sure.
Petty, catty, all that. But there's sometimes when you have a connection with someone that, like, or just a man that's emotionally intelligent talking to someone who maybe not have that emotional intelligence, to be like, you're being bullied, babe. And I think that, like, I'm glad that you brought that up. And there should be an entire episode about men. We've done one smaller one, but really getting and owning those feelings. But yeah, I want to be like, babe, your girlfriend, your wife that's mean. She's bullying you. She's being really abusive to you. And it doesn't matter that you're a guy and can take it, or it doesn't bother me that much. That's fucked. It's all about the self-worth.
For sure. Yeah.
So have you felt comfortable if a couple comes to you and you realize that, like, baby, you've been bullied? Part of our job is that we shouldn't tell clients what to do. We can guide them to doing, motivational interviewing, whatever it is, mirroring, or to get them to come to that conclusion. But have you ever just looked at a couple and said, like, hey, this isn't, you guys aren't being good for each other. Like, this is super toxic. Have you ever just...
I've had those conversations individually.
Yeah.
Because I felt like when it's together and I'm trying to express that, it's like pretty much impossible, at least for me, for it not to look like I'm like aligned
With
like
one or the
with
other.
one or the other. So like it's happened to me before where like I've had to say to two people separately, like, you deserve better than this person. This person's not meeting your needs.
Yeah.
And then gone to their partner and said the same
Same
thing
thing.
because it's true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so the issue there is that I know that my clients aren't going to break up or move past a breakup, even if they do break up, until they decide to.
Yeah.
So I can tell them till I'm blue in the face, like, you deserve better. You're going to find someone, blah, 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 blah. But it really just has to be about like asking them, like, what about you and how you feel about yourself leads you to believe that you don't deserve to have your needs met.
I love that you said that, because I think that is such an important thing that I know someone's probably going to listen to this and be like, you know, if they're not the ones bullied, they're like I did with my friend in college, I see someone else being bullied. Like we said to my sister, or she said to us, it's hard to see someone that you love go through a toxic relationship, and all we can do is remind them of their self-worth, and anytime that they're around us, bring them up and make sure that they feel loved and wanted and appreciated, because eventually a lot of times it kicks in of like, if my friends can treat me this way. But yeah, you cannot, someone's not going to leave until they're ready. So for you're right, for you to put that on someone and make it that moment.
You know my favorite Wizard of Oz quote, right? I have another tattoo that says that.
What does this one say?
It's when Dorothy's back in Kansas, and then she's there with the whole team, and Glinda says to Dorothy, like, you've always had the power to go back to Kansas.
Yeah.
And then the Tin Man's like, well, why didn't you tell her before? And Glinda says she had to learn it for herself.
Yeah. You know, there's so many little nuggets in that movie that are just like,
it.
but I think I love the phrase, you can always go back home. We can always go back home, right? Because there's so many times that I've been like, oh, you know, if I go back home, I'd be like angry or whatever, or like I don't miss it, or all these ideas. And so it's like, until you're ready to do that, I think it's so much like, until we're ready to feel that love again, because sometimes we don't want to go home because we're not feeling worthy of it. We're not feeling like, I don't want people to see me this way. I think it's very, 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 very much the same as relationships. I've talked to so many people that are like, I didn't want to break up with them because I wasn't ready to admit that and to face my loved ones, because I knew that maybe they're not upset with you, but that sadness of you know, the realization of your loved ones watching you go through that. Yeah, you can't. You gotta figure it out. You gotta learn it, your worth from yourself.
For yourself, yeah. I just talked to a patient last week who sent me a message and was like, can we have a session? Like, I'm going through a breakup, whatever. And she had been dating this person for like 5 or 6 years, and probably like 3 years ago I started like pointing out what was toxic about it and how her needs weren't being met, and you know, like pointing to her self-worth and what she really wanted, and like how her goals aligned and whatever. So I would always say, like, you know, when you come to believe these things, I think it might raise questions about the future of this relationship, et cetera, et cetera. And then it got to the point where it was just like abusive. And I was like, listen, I know that you need to be ready for this to end. So I'm not going to force you and push you. But I want you to think about the fact that whether it ends now or 2 years from now, like, this is something you're going to have to emotionally move past, because it's not going down the right path.
It's not serving you.
So when she called me, she was like, I'm ready. I'm over it. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And like, because she came to that conclusion herself, I think it was just so much easier, healthier, whatever, for her to be like, okay, now I'm going to like break this attachment. Like, I'm not doing it because like Amory made me feel like I need to do it, or like my family said I should do it, or whatever. So I try to be really careful about that with my clients, because I know it's not going to work. Like, even if I guilted someone into breaking up with someone, like they're going to be so attached still that it's almost going to be more toxic.
Oh, for sure. Because then you get in the behavior of, I'm going to just try to forget about them, or what is wrong with me that I can't forget about them because everyone told me they're bad and I just can't.
Right.
I've started doing this a few weeks ago with clients because so many of them were like, I know that's not the case, but that's how I feel. I'm like, okay, then I want to really lean into this. It does not behoove us to sit there and say, well, I know that's not true, so I shouldn't feel this way. So I'm like, no, feel that. And I'm like, there's sometimes a difference between how we feel and the reality of something, right? And we shouldn't refute either of those. And sometimes we get into situations where our feelings and the reality coincide and they match, and sometimes they don't. So if you're in a relationship and you're like, I feel like, I still love them, and maybe they're having a rough day and this isn't this, but I know I'm being bullied. And I just have to, how do we get to a place where these match? Because we want the feelings and the reality to match up. And there's so many times I've talked to people where they're like, I know so-and-so loves me, but I don't feel loved by them. I was like, okay, but we know that I know they love me. They've shown me nothing but love. I just don't feel loved by them. And I love them. So I think it's a thing of me being able to accept love. Well, we can get you there, right? But if it's the opposite, and someone says, I know they don't love me because they bully me, but I can't leave. I love them. Well, I need you. I'm glad you say this, and feel that love, because I can't take that away from you. You can't take that away from you. But we're gonna get you there. We're gonna get you to understand that I might love them, but I know they're not good for me, and I know I'm being bullied, and now those feelings are matching, and we go. But until your reality and your feelings are coinciding with each other, our feelings are so big for us that it's kind of like if, and maybe this is a bad analogy or a toxic one, but you never tell someone who's schizophrenic that their hallucinations aren't real.
Right.
Because guess what? It's real
real
to them. They see this, they hear this, they feel this. It's kind of like that with feelings. To say, well, your feelings aren't real, I'm feeling it right now, so they sure as hell are real. Maybe in time I'll say that might have been the wrong, or the feeling that didn't serve me best in that moment. But our feelings are real, babe. We can't deny that. So I think that's like, if you're feeling something in that relationship, say something about it. What is it? If you see something, say something. If you feel something, say something.
Yeah.
If you feel like you're dating an asshole, say something.
For sure. Exactly.
What advice do you have before we kick off and log off on knowing your self-worth?
I think the best thing that you can do is sit down and give yourself time to actually reflect on what's going on in your life, in your environment. What do I enjoy doing? Am I doing this? Am I choosing myself when I decide to do this? Am I doing this for other people? What am I experiencing in my life? And am I being true to myself? Because if I'm not, then I'm not valuing myself.
100%. I think my piece of advice, and I always say this, obviously we know that there's the outliers that this doesn't always work for, but I was talking to a client last week, and I said, I think you are so strong and emotionally intelligent. And they said, no, I'm not. I'm really not. And I said, okay, we're going to stop. I said, do your parents think you are? Uh-huh. Does your closest colleagues and friends think you are? Yeah. Who you work with? Absolutely. Who doesn't? Well, my ex. And I said, if you have to flip your head upside down and bounce a glass of water on your feet and chug a bottle of milk to see their perspective when everyone around you is lifting you up and telling you that, then why are we fighting so hard on that? So I think it's to listen to those who truly support and love you and have your best interest. And if they're telling you something positive about yourself, we don't have to at that moment believe it and feel it that way, but we need to work towards that. And so we're not going to do the Olympic gymnastics in our head to see the one outlier person's point of view of us. Let's listen to those around us, and let's try to start accepting that about us, because that is so much easier to do than doing the mind games of trying to see why Bobby's being such a dick to you, right?
For sure.
So that's my caveat. Listen to those that genuinely love you, and build off of that.
For sure.
And just stop dating assholes, guys. That's the only way to fix this. Just don't date people who talk about your,
boobs,
your fat titties or your horse teeth. Because that's not cute. That's not a cute moment for anyone.
No. Big red flags. Boobs and teeth.
If they're talking about your boobs, they're talking about your teeth in non-positive ways, red fucking flag. If they're talking about in good ways, green. Green as shit. Take it on. Thanks for joining us today on this early morning as this was, I don't know, maybe mornings are our shit. This was fun. I say that as I looked at the camera and everything just went blurry for a second.
Oh my God, I know, right?
Feel free to subscribe to our podcast channel so that you get a little alert every time we download a new episode. Follow us on the Instagram, the TikToks, subscribe to the YouTube. Drop comments. Let us know what you want to hear about, what you want us to talk about, subjects you want to hear.
Ask questions.
Yeah, this is how we got to this episode. You guys had talked about this, so do that, and we'll spit out an episode about it and ask questions. We'll do another Q&A soon.
Oh yeah, another Q&A. We should.
We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.